Hello, everyone. Welcome. It is Friday, January 6th, 2023, and I'm here in the Dallas, Texas area on I think it's 61 degrees right now. It's supposed to be 66 for the high, and it's partly cloudy. It's a little bit breezy right now, but it feels great whenever you can be in Texas and there's no humidity. I love it. Love it, love it. And also, I think I'm going to go ahead and share my breakthrough tour first, and then there's something I want to talk about, which is cool. But the breakthrough tour is January 29th. We'll be doing a worldwide deliverance session. February the 18th, we'll be in Houston, Texas, at the Courtyard in the Woodlands area on the north side of Texas. February 26th, doing another worldwide deliverance session. In March, we'll be in Waco, Texas. I'll let you know exactly the dates on that. And then March 26th, worldwide deliverance session. April 15th and 16th, we'll be in Merkel, Texas, at the Fountain Gate Church, which is west of Dallas. And then April 30th, doing a worldwide deliverance session on Facebook and YouTube and on TikTok. And then June 10th, we'll be in Dallas, Texas, at the Courtyard in Plano. So before I get started on the topic of the day, I wanted to share from my own, I guess, a personal testimony is that I love cookies. I absolutely, one of my favorite desserts, if you can call it a dessert, I think you can. But ever since I was really a kid, I enjoyed cookies. I used to eat a lot of Chips Ahoy cookies. I used to eat other cookies that were like Archway, if you've ever heard of Archway cookies. And really, throughout my life, I of course, would exercise and I would eat fairly healthy. But I always say everything in balance is what the Lord's always instructed me, because there's people can get out of balance saying, oh my gosh, I can't eat this, I can't eat that, and they don't enjoy some of the things that would be good to taste. And so cookies are one of my most favorite things. And I was sent a batch of cookies from a Christian that has a business, a small business called It Batters. And you can go out and check it out on the website that they have, itbatters.com. And I absolutely love cookies. So I'm going to show you, this is one of the cookies. It's a chocolate chip cookie, and I love chocolate chip. And it's one of the thick kinds, and it's like soft inside, and it's so good. Oh my gosh. It's like one of my favorite cookies. And again, it's at itbatters.com. And I highly recommend. Now, it's interesting, they made a cookie for Restored to Freedom that I believe it's a sugar cookie, but they put our logo. This is in plastic, but our logo's on here. Restored to Freedom. I think you can see it the correct way on YouTube. On Facebook, it's probably reversed, but I can't wait to eat that. They have blueberry cheesecake. They have lemon cookies. I love lemon. And they have these little cookies. I'm not sure exactly what they are. They have a cookie that looks like a waffle. I don't know if you put syrup on it or what, but they have lemon cheesecake, blueberry cheesecake, what other things? Anyways, they have lots of different flavors, blueberry, and if you guys like cookies, I would say go out there to itbatters.com and check them out, and they can ship it to wherever you're at, wherever you live. So they're out of Cleveland, Tennessee is where they're located at. So highly recommend. And I might eat it again. I love chocolate chip. So anyways, so good. All right, moving on. Topic of the day is kind of the Lord showed this to me late last night, called "People Lie Until They Are Healed and Delivered." And it is so true. When you think about it, why do people lie? Well, it's because they're doing something that they're either not proud of or they don't want people to know about, because it might cause people to look down upon them or shame them or a myriad of things. And what I noticed, in my own personal life, I had struggled, I talk about this, struggled with pornography. I didn't want to do it. I wanted to stop and I couldn't. There was nothing in the church that talked about inner healing and deliverance. So I walked through this myself, and now I can help other people get healed of their sexual traumas, their wounds, being exposed to pornography, of course, wounds from fathers, mothers, anybody and everybody, by going back and getting those wounds healed, by having Jesus come to speak to them. When it comes to sexual stuff, the Lord's always like, I'm so sorry that happened to you. You were an innocent little boy, little girl. You weren't looking for it. It came after you, or you discovered it. But oftentimes, like in my case, went to the bathroom, wasn't looking for it whatsoever, and then when I was leaving, a boy had a Playboy and he asked me to come look, and I didn't know what it was. I was an innocent little kid, and once I saw it, I was like, oh my gosh, and you can't unsee it. And then at that point, I struggled with that. And so then oftentimes you're into behaviors and things that you aren't very proud about, and you would wish that you could stop. And so that's what I've learned with inner healing and deliverance, is it takes you to where you're no longer struggling with behavior that you have to cover up and or lie about. So people that are not healed and not delivered, especially those, we talk a lot about people that would be called narcissists, which is really the spirit of Jezebel that's taken hold of them. It's so common, so prevalent. I mean, that's why the Lord allowed me to see people up close and personal that operated in that spirit, is because it's so prevalent between Jezebel and Ahab. And I would say majority of people have struggled with that in their lives, and Leviathan, pride. So ultimately what it does is it causes people to behave and do things that they're not proud of. Oftentimes they can be in addictions, sinful things, and they want to cover it up, and they don't want anybody to know. Of course, there's like more than half of pastors that struggle with looking at pornography, and they don't want people to know. And then, of course, by covering it up and not letting anyone know, they're not going to get help, they're not going to get healing, they're not going to get delivered. They oftentimes feel ashamed. There's a lot of that goes around. So when a person gets healed, they're forgiving all those who have hurt them. They get healed of their sexual wounds. The Lord comes and takes away, there's no desires to do sexual things, impure things, ungodly things. There's no desires to hurt people. A lot of people that operate in Jezebel, they're very controlling, they're very manipulative. They have a lot of fear, and they believe the enemy's telling them that they need to make sure that other people do exactly what they want, otherwise they're going to get hurt, they're going to get taken advantage of, and they're going to look at themselves as a victim. So over and over and over again, they're controlling, they're manipulative, they're prideful, they do a lot of bad things, and they're not proud about it, and they want to act like they look good in front of the church, like they're godly. Maybe they can pray in tongues and still behave horribly behind closed doors. I've seen it. I know how it works. And so when you're healed and delivered, when you forgive people who have hurt you, when you've repented for your pride, repented for your sin, you get delivered of all those tendencies to overreact, to be jealous, to be controlling, to be in addictive things, whether it be alcohol, whether it be sexual things, whether it be drugs, whether it be smoking. And guess what? When you're healed and delivered, it's like you don't have to lie about anything, because you're not doing anything that is ungodly. Now, I'll say this, that sin becomes rare as you get healed and delivered. It's not like you have to struggle anymore to say, hey, I need to stop looking at this pornography. It's like it doesn't have any draw to it anymore. Like, why would I want to do that? When you're healed and delivered, it's like, oh my gosh. So you don't have to cover things up anymore. And that's what of course, real, true Christ follower is, and there's a lot of people that are in various states of that purification process, consecration process. At least they should be. There's a lot of people that operate in Jezebel that are not. They're fine with staying where they're at. They want to keep living lives where they're having secret sins and trying to cover up. Well, then they have to lie. They have to say, oh, no, I didn't look at pornography, or no, I didn't lust at that person, or no, I didn't cheat, I don't know, on my taxes. No, I didn't cheat on my spouse. I didn't do this wrong or that wrong. I'm not, they have to lie about all those things. And so the Lord was showing me, when people get healed and delivered, they don't want to lie. They don't need to lie because they're not living the sinful lifestyle they did before. It's like it's gone. You can look in your past and no longer are you feeling condemned, which is what the enemy will do. You can use it as a testimony. You can say, yeah, I used to struggle with this, and that, and now I don't. And now I feel like a real Christian. There's so many people that have followed our ministry and said, Nelson, I now feel like a real Christian. I'm not struggling with secret sins anymore. I'm not looking at pornography. I'm not lusting after women or men. I am treating my children with love and respect. And now they're giving me love and respect. I'm treating my spouse with honor, with love. Why would I say anything to hurt my spouse? Well, people that are not healed and delivered are going to hurt them all day long and say horrible things behind closed doors. And then in front of the church, they want to act nice. Well, they're lying. They're not nice behind closed doors, or they're not godly behind closed doors. And then their spouse normally will cover it up and act and go along with it and submit to their demonic stuff. And it's not good. And people that struggle with Jezebel spirits will tend to lie about a lot of things that they don't even have to lie about. Like they could be saying that, hey, I ended up eating at Chili's today for lunch. And in reality, they actually ate at Subway. But maybe in the back of their mind, they're thinking, well, gee, if I eat at Subway, it doesn't sound as impressive as, eating at Chili's. So I'm going to lie about it, because there's some pride that they still have in there. So they lie about insignificant things that they wouldn't have to lie about if they were healed and delivered. And again, I know it's a process to get healed and delivered. A lot of times it takes a long time. Sometimes they never get healed and delivered because they don't think they need it, or they're ashamed of the things that they're doing and they want to just lie and act like they're not that way. And then oftentimes they will struggle in their relationships because they will trigger on them. So when people are healed and delivered, they don't need to lie anymore. They're like, hey, I'm not doing anything that I am not proud of, that the Lord's not proud of, that my husband or my wife is not proud of, or my children. So you tend to see people that have to cover up and lie that are not healed and delivered yet. And there's a lot of them that are in the church. Let's face it, let's be honest. If they're not healed and delivered, they're going to be doing things they shouldn't, and they're going to be having to make things up and act like they're really godly, or act like they're a victim. You see this a lot with people that struggle with Jezebel. They act like they're a victim when they're actually the abuser. They're the controller. They're the manipulator. They're the person that loves and knows how to act. They're great actors and actresses, really good, professional grade, because they can sell that they're such an innocent little thing when they're not. They can sell that they're godly. They do a lot of things, like the Pharisees and scribes did a lot of things that looked and appeared good from the outside, but Jesus knew their hearts. He knew that they were wicked inside. That's why he talked about them like being vipers, and that the outside of the cup was clean, but they wouldn't clean the inside, because the inside was their intentions of their heart. So they'd have to make up things and make them look good, but then behind closed doors they wouldn't be who they truly were. They didn't have the love of Christ. So when you get healed and you get delivered, all that stuff goes away. You're like, I don't need to fake anything. If I make a mistake, I can own up to it and say, yep, I made a mistake, no big deal. But boy, it's a huge deal to people who are still hearing those demonic spirits that have not been healed and delivered yet, oftentimes because they were yelled and screamed at, maybe by their mom or by their dad or by other people, saying, hey. Over and over, they remember that. They were stuck in that trauma. And so they're like, okay, I've got to lie, I got to make things up so that I don't get yelled at from my spouse, today. But it all goes back to when they were growing up. So how interesting is it that you don't need to lie anymore when you're healed and delivered, because there's nothing there that you have that you're covering up for. You are who you are now, and it's the fruit of the Spirit is evident in your life. So you have love, you have joy, you have peace, you have patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, self-control. You walk in humility, you walk in sexual purity. Now that's what a real Christian is, correct? That's how the Bible describes it, and sin matters. And so if a person's living in sin and operating in sin, then what are they going to do? They're going to try to appear that they're not. They're going to lie about their behaviors, how they treat their spouse, how they treat their children, what they're looking at on their phones, how they talk to people. So it's a simple concept that, okay, all I got to do is get healed of my soul wounds, get delivered of the demons, and then I won't have to lie anymore, because I'm not doing all these evil things that I used to, or things that are sin. Sin becomes rare. It's like there's nothing attractive about sinning, what I can get away with, or what addictions, which are essentially idols that I put before the Lord. I no longer have to, drink alcohol, every week, or smoke, or gamble, or overeat, all these things, gluttony, or even over-exercise, or, again, exercise is healthy, everything in balance. But if I were to exercise 4 hours a day, then it's become more of an idol at that point. So just think about it. Think about how many times that you've had to lie, say today, compared to maybe before when you had not learned about inner healing and deliverance. You should notice that your lies are like minimal, very little, or maybe it's like a white lie versus a common everyday thing where you're lying 10 times, 15 times, 20 times a day. People that are not healed and delivered have to do that to make their image appear good. And what does that do? Sometimes it severs your conscience, because at that point you're like, I can lie about anything, I can get away with it. But then if you're married to somebody, they're going to be like, gee, are you telling me the truth? Oh yeah, I'm telling you the truth. They're like, no, are you really telling me the truth? Oh yeah, sure. And so they get away with all these lies, and then they make up lies that are about stupid things that they wouldn't have to lie about. Like, hey, did you take care of paying this bill? Oh yeah, I paid the bill. And then they didn't do it. And it was like, well, wait a minute, why did you lie? Because eventually they get found out. And then before you know it, you don't trust anything that they say and do. And then that's not a relationship. You can't have a relationship with someone that lies all the time. So pursue forgiving everyone. This is inner healing and deliverance, is forgiving everyone for hurting you. Let the Lord show you. Come speak to me about my father, my mother, sexual violations. Lord, speak to me. I'm hurting. I'm so mad. I was hurt so badly by this person, that person. And the Lord will tell you and show you that they were also hurt. They were also wounded. And then, when you're able to forgive truly from your heart, that takes away legal rights the demons have. You then command them to go. And as you get all those wounds healed, get delivered, you're a different person. You now operate in the fruit of the Spirit. Love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, self-control. You walk in sexual purity. You walk in humility. And then you don't have to lie about anything. Now that's a wonderful life at that point. Then you can make a mistake and say, hey, I confess up. Yep, I made a mistake here. I chose to buy this instead of that. That's on me. Or I chose to go here instead of there. That's on me. People that struggle with a lot of demonic stuff cannot admit the truth when they make a mistake. Oftentimes it's like the worst thing ever. And oftentimes it goes back to when they were growing up, where they've got a lot of shame given to them by their mom or their dad and put them down if they made a mistake. And oftentimes if they make a mistake, meaning that they didn't do what their parent wanted them to. Some parents, of course, are not healed, not delivered, and they want you to cover up for their own sins. And maybe you won't do it. Then you're kind of labeled a scapegoat. You're a troublemaker because you won't go along with the rest of the family. Do you know anybody that's like that? A lot of times people that have a moral compass are labeled a scapegoat because they won't go along with everyone else in the family. Look the other way. Tolerate corruption or fudging on things. So anyways, again, I talked at the beginning about cookies, itbatters.com. I love, this is a chocolate chip cookie. Oh, so good. So if you like cookies, like I like cookies, go out to itbatters.com and they'll ship them to wherever you're at. And again, they're Christian, family-based, out of Cleveland, Tennessee. So good. Alrighty, I'll let everybody go. Have a great weekend, the first weekend of the new year of 2023. Also, before I go, I guess, there's been a lot of people, I gave some, what the Lord was showing me in 2023, that was on, I think, January 3rd, and the Lord was showing me that there's going to be a lot of exposures within the church, a lot of exposures that are coming because people are refusing to get healed and delivered. They want to keep their lies and stay in that. And the Lord's saying, no more, enough. I'm going to expose it. I've given you time to repent. You've chosen not to. That goes along with Revelation chapter 2, was it 17 through 23, I think? The church of Thyatira and Jezebel. So there's a lot of people that are operating in the church that are not the way they should be, and the Lord's going to expose it. He's given them time to repent. And they're like, nope, I'm going to keep living my lies. I'm going to act like I'm a godly person, but I'm not. So they're continuing to live in the lies. Those who are blessed because they are already serving the Lord, they've already chosen inner healing deliverance, they don't have anything that has to be uncovered because they've already repented now, and they're a different person. So they're going to have a lot of blessings this year. But if you have acted like you're a Christian and you're not, you're still living in a lot of sin, and you're lying, then you can expect the Lord to, little by little, expose more of that so that you can ultimately change. Get healed, get delivered, repent, change, so that you are saved, truly saved. There's a lot of people out there that will say they're saved. They ask Jesus to come into their hearts, they think they're saved, but then they forgot about getting their wounds healed, getting delivered, and making sin a rare thing. They've got major sins in their lives that they are refusing to give up because they've not forgiven those who have hurt them and repented for their sins and commanded the demons to go. So I saw there was a posting by Nate Johnston who kind of confirmed that he was seeing that, also by the prophet Joellen Stevens. She had a dream where she saw a storm coming to people in the church, and they were all afraid because they're going to have a lot of exposure. And it needs to happen because a lot of these people, there's not enough Christian in them to convict them of being a Christian. They're living like the world, and then they're lying, trying to act like the Christians. So anyway, I just wanted to mention that because that confirms with what the Lord is showing me, and I do believe that there is going to be a lot of shaking going on this year, and it's time. It's time to repent. It's time to get right with the Lord. It's time to make sin a rare thing in our life. So, and for those of us that have chosen to live that life, then you can have a lot of blessings this year. So aloha to Vic Miranda on Facebook. I see you. Vic moved to Hawaii. How cool is that? I visited the Big Island. I visited Maui when I had business stuff going on, and I know it's a wonderful place to live, but I also know it's very expensive to live there too. So aloha to Vic. And all right, I'll try and keep these to about 30 minutes, so I will let you go. Again, if you like cookies, go out to itbatters.com. And they can even customize cookies and put logos on it. How cool is that? Pretty cool. All right. I will let you guys go. See you on Facebook and YouTube. All right. Bye-bye.